What's up, Crim Heist? Welcome to another Criminology educational video, and for today we will be discussing Introduction to Criminology. By the way, my name is Sean Francis Sandiego, also known as the Professor. So before we jump into our discussion, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Professor, and hit the notification bell for you to be updated for my next video upload. So for today, we will be discussing the following topics. First is identifying the different views on the causes of crime. So just to give you a heads up, there are three different views: the consensus view, the conflict view, and the interactionist view, which later on we will be discussing. Control of criminal behavior, introducing to the brief concept of penology, and discussing the concept of theory. So first on our list is, how do criminologists view crime? So it can be viewed in a consensus view, conflict view, and interactionist view of crime. So first, we will be discussing consensus view. Criminal behavior is behavior in violation of criminal law. It is not a crime unless it is prohibited by the criminal law. So guys, let us remember the legal maxim nullum crimen, nulla poena sine lege, wherein there is no crime if there is no law punishing the act. So therefore, kailangan meron munang naka-impose na batas, which is criminal law, para ma-prohibit yung isang act, and that act can be considered as crime if the person committed or omitted such action. The term consensus implies general agreement among majority of citizens on what behavior should be prohibited by criminal law and henceforth be viewed as crime. As proposed by Cesar Beccaria, laws should be a social contract. So therefore, there is an agreement between the citizen and the government. The law defines crime, agreement exists on outlawed behavior, and law applied to all citizens equally. So therefore, yung batas daw ay agreement between the society and the government, wherein ang pinagkakasunduan nila ay yung mga bagay o mga behavior na hindi dapat i-manifest or gawin ng isang tao. As for conflict view, the definition of crime is controlled by wealth, power, and position, and not by moral consensus or the fear of social disruption. It is a political concept designed to protect the power and position of the upper classes at the expense of the poor. As we all know that society is a collection of diverse groups, and they are in constant or continuous conflict because hindi sila nagkakasundo. The law is a tool of the ruling class. The law is used to control lower class, and crime is politically defined. As we all know, sinabi nga natin sa consensus view, ang tingin ng, or rather, ang lahat ng tao ay equally tinitignan if in a law perspective. So it is equal and it is applied to everyone. Third is interactionist view of crime. Crimes are outlawed behaviors because society defines them that way and not because they are inherently evil or immoral acts. Moral entrepreneurs define crime, and criminal labels are life-transforming events. In interactionist view, people act according to their own interpretations of reality. Di ba nga sabi natin, yung sense of right or wrong depends kung saan ka lumaki, kung ano ang iyong morality. They observe the way others react. They reevaluate and interpret their own behavior according to the meaning they have learned from others. Now, let's go to the focal points in the explanation of criminal behavior. Bakit ba importante na i-explain natin yung existence or yung nagki-trigger sa criminal behavior ng isang tao? First would be criminal anthropology. For criminal anthropology, it is also known as the anthropological criminology. It is based on the perceived links between the nature of a crime and the personality or physical appearance of the offender. In its simplest explanation, it is the study of criminality in relation to the physical constitution of man, or kung paano or kung ano ang physical constitution ng isang tao based sa kanyang itsura. As to criminal psychiatry, it involves the assessment and treatment of mentally abnormal offenders, as well as the legal aspects of psychiatry which require knowledge of the law relating to ordinary psychiatric practice, civil law, and issues of criminal responsibility. For easy explanation, criminal psychiatry is the study of human mind in relation to criminality. Ano ang relationship between the human mind or yung utak ng isang tao in relation to criminal behavior? Third would be criminal psychology. So wag kayong malilito between criminal psychiatry and criminal psychology. Because criminal psychology is a branch of the field of psychology which focuses on criminals. It is the study of human behavior in relation to criminality. Si criminal psychiatry, ang pinag-aaralan is the relationship between the human mind and criminality. As per criminal psychology, ang pinag-aaralan is the relationship between human behavior and criminality. Next would be physiognomy. It is based upon the ideas that the assessment of the person's outer appearance, primarily the face, may give insights into one's character or personality. It is a practice of assessing a person's character or personality from their facial features or expressions. So usually ito nagpapromote to ng racism or discrimination. Because parang ang inaano dito ni physiognomy, pagka masyadong malaki ang cheekbones mo, mas pouty yung labi mo, pangu ka, malaki yung mata mo, you have tendencies na magkaroon ng criminal behavior. So nakabase siya so kung ano ang itsura mo. So lugi yung mga pangit. Next is phrenology. Phrenology is the theory which determines character, personality, traits, and criminality on the basis of the shape of the head or skull. This theory was proposed by Franz Gall, wherein he measured the bumps of the head in order to identify the brain development. So ito naman is study of the shape of the skull in relation to criminal behavior. Next is criminal geography. For criminal geography, it is concerned related to climate, humidity, wind, velocity, atmosphere pressure, rainfall, nature of soil, and other external factors or environmental factors or geographical factors as the case may be. Next is sociological factors. Causes of criminal behaviors are the things, place, and people with whom the person comes in contact with and contribute to the development of criminal behavior. Parang social learning na kung ano yung interaction between two people at natuto ka dun sa behavior niya at ginaya mo. Therefore, that can considered or that will contribute or that will play as a factor in the development of criminal behavior. Next is psychoanalytic theory. For psychoanalytic theory, it is proposed by Sigmund Freud, wherein it is composed of id, ego, and superego. Yung behavior natin is composed daw nung tatlong ito. As for the id, it is the instinct or desire to satisfy the pleasure of a person. So kung ano yung kagustuhan natin, the wants, also known as the pleasure principle. As for the ego, it balances the id and superego kung mapapansin natin sa illustration kanina. It is also known as the reality principle. Ito yung realidad na sumasampal dun sa tao. And superego, it is the conscious ability to know right from wrong. Ito naman yung tinatawag natin na conscience or also known as the moral principle. Next would be the introduction to the brief concept of penology. So I will just be giving you an overview of what is the concept of penology. Paano ba nabuo ang penology and transforming it or developing or the development of penology to correction. Let us first define what is penology. Penology refers to the study of punishment of crime or of criminal offenders. It includes the study of control and prevention of crime through punishment of criminal offenders. So, ibig sabihin si penology, hindi lang siya basta pagbibigay ng punishment doon sa crime or doon sa offender. Ang pinag-aaralan din nila dito, what is the appropriate punishment to deter or to prevent re-engagement to criminal behavior or criminal activity. The term derived from the Latin word poena, which means pain or suffering. Penology is otherwise known as penal science. So this is Franz Francis Lieber. He is a German-American jurist, a political philosopher, and a sociologist. He coined the term penology, which means punishment for criminals. Penology, it is narrowly defined as the study of prisons which have been used in some variations for hundreds of years to punish people who have committed crimes. Some argued that focus of penology is on prison management and prison administration. Specifically, while others argue the focus is broader and includes how crimes are defined and punished. So penology is also the study of a criminal and legal penalty to be imposed or to be inflicted to the criminal. Penology falls under the umbrella of criminology, but in a broader sense, it is also under the umbrella of sociology. Does the punishment fit the crime? In current applications of the term, a person who studies penology may choose to focus on the various methods of punishments used by society, such as imprisonment and the philosophy behind them. Penologists focus on how punishment for the same crime varies from country to country and why. Example: in some societies, theft is punished by chopping off the thief's dominant hand. A penologist would be interested in why this particular punishment is used for the particular crime within this culture and society. So, kumbaga si penologist daw, trabaho niya na alamin or pag-aralan kung bakit yun yung proportionate punishment sa crime of theft, na bakit ang proportionate punishment is chopping off the thief's dominant hand. And ano yung rationale behind that kind of punishment. And with that punishment is connected to the culture, practices, and beliefs of the certain community. He might examine in depth what it means for the punished thief to return to society now missing a hand. He could also be interested in the role of the person responsible for administering such punishment, or punishment came to exist for that crime within that society in the first place. An even more prominent issue penologists study is the death penalty and the rationale behind its use as well as the manner in which it is carried out. So, isa din sa mga major study na dapat gawin or research na dapat gawin ni penologist is the death penalty. And ano ang rationale or ano ang reason behind the implication or the inflictment of death penalty? And ano, efficient ba siya? And on how does penalty carried out? Kung paano siya ginagawa? Not every country has the death penalty, including the Philippines, and use of it varies across international borders over time, and even several states in the United States have recently abolished the death penalty as a method of punishment. Public sentiment has shifted over the years regarding its use, and it is constantly being reformed. Now, binanggit ko kanina yung penal management and penal administration. Let us now understand the concept of penal management. It refers to the manner or practice of managing or controlling places of confinement such as jails or prisons. So, ibig sabihin, si penal management, it is the systematic management or systematic way of managing and controlling or para patakbuhin yung sistema na meron sa isang jail or prison. As to correction, it is a branch of the criminal justice system, as we all know, concerned with the custody, supervision, and rehabilitation of criminal offenders. As with correctional administration, it is the study and practice of a system management of jails or prisons and other institutions concerned with the custody, treatment, and rehabilitation of criminal offenders. So just to give you a heads up before we jump into punishment, si correction kasi sa Pillar Philippine Criminal Justice System or in any criminal justice system a country has or a country have, correction is divided into two. Specifically here in the Philippines, it is divided into two, namely correctional institutional correction and non-institutional correction. So, institutional correction, the rehabilitation program is conducted inside a correctional facility such as jails or prisons. As to non-institutional correction, the rehabilitation program is done outside the correctional facility. A good example of non-institutional correction are probation, parole, and pardon. Now, let's go back to punishment. Punishment is the redress that the state takes, or ito yung tool na ginagamit ng isang government against the offending member of society that usually involves pain and suffering. So punishment is the system used by the government to inflict penalty or to as a way of retribution to the criminal. Now, what is penalty? Penalty is defined as suffering inflicted by the state against an offending member for the violation or transgression of law. Now, let's go to our last topic, which is the 7 correctional facilities nationwide here in the Philippines. So let us first define, or let us first know the concept of New Bilibid Prison. So all of these correctional facilities are under the Bureau of Correction. So it is one of the component of institutional correction. For New Bilibid Prison, or NBP, it is one of the 7 major facilities handled by the Bureau of Correction, which is under the DOJ or Department of Justice, which is located in Muntinlupa. So ito yung picture ng Bureau of Correction, or the New Bilibid Prison. It is located in Muntinlupa City with a land area of 551 hectares. Capacity is 9,007 heads, and it was established on November 15, 1940. Next would be the Ihawig Prison and Penal Farm. So, ito yung mga nasa probinsya na. It is located at the barangay Ihawig, Palawan. So, ito yung picture ng Ihawig Prison and Penal Farm. It is situated in Puerto Princesa City, Palawan. Initially, 28,072 hectares, expanded to 40,000 hectares in the late 1950s. The capacity is 911, and it was established in year 1904. Next is the sub-colonies of Ihawig and Prison Penal Farms. The Central with an area of 14,700 hectares, Santa Lucia with 9,685, Montibol with 8,000 hectares, and Inagawan with 13,000 hectares. Now, let's go to Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm. It is situated in Occidental Mindoro, Philippines. So, it is located in Occidental Mindoro with a land area of 8,327 hectares. Capacity is 2,372, and it was established in September 26, 1954 by virtue of Presidential Proclamation number 72. Next is San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm. It is located in Zamboanga City, Philippines. So, it has a land area of 1,414 hectares with a capacity of 1,550, and it was established in August 21, 1870 through a royal decree promulgated in 1869. Next is Davao Prison and Penal Farm. It is situated in Santo Tomas, Davao del Norte. It's located in Panabo City, Davao del Norte with a land area of 6,396 and a capacity of 2,261. It was here established in January 21, 1932. Next is Correctional Institution for Women, which is located in Mandaluyong City. The main branch is located in Mandaluyong, but it has a satellite camp in Mindanao, subcolony Santo Tomas, Davao del Norte. So it is located, the main area is in Mandaluyong City, 18 hectares ang land area with a capacity of 1,000, and it was established on November 27, 1929 by Republic Act 3579. Take note that there are 8 national penitentiaries built in the Philippines. However, the old prison now became, or the old prison, Bilibid Prison now become the Manila City Jail, and it is under the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. And as a result, it natira na lang is 7 prison and penal farms, which is under the Bureau of Correction. Next is the discussion about the concept of theory. So, ano ba ang theory? According to Freda Adler, theory is the statement that explains the relationship between abstract concepts in a meaningful way. For example, if scientists observes that criminality rates are usually high in neighborhoods with high unemployment rates, they might theorize that environmental conditions influence criminal behavior. So alamin muna natin what is social theory. It is defined as a systematic set of interrelated statements or principles that explain aspects of social life. Theory serves as a model of framework for understanding human behavior and the forces that form it. It is based on the verified social facts or readily observed phenomena that can be constantly calculated and measured. As a social theory, when we say theory kasi, it tries to explain something. And here in social theory, ang gusto niyang i-explain is the aspect of social life. So let us define theory, a supposition or a system of ideas intended to explain something, especially one based on general principles independent of the thing to be explained. It derived from the Greek word theoria, which means contemplation or speculation. A plausible or scientifically acceptable general principle or body of principles offered to explain phenomenon. It is synonymous with the terms thesis, hypothesis, supposition, and proposition. Basta ang theory, it is something that tries to explain a thing or something. So what are the three stages of theory of development? May tatlo yan. Speculative, it attempts to explain what is happening, kung anong nangyayari. Descriptive, it gathers descriptive data to describe what is really happening. As to constructive, it revises old theories and develops new ones based on continuing research. The critical points relating to theory construction is its purpose to predict. So si speculative, ito yung theory na gusto lang i-explain yung nangyayari. Si descriptive, gusto niyang explain yung ano talaga ang nangyayari by gathering descriptive data. Constructive, ito yung paggamit ng mga lumang teorya at dinedevelop niya ito based on continuing research. And ang critical point o ang focal point kung ba't niya ito ginagawa is to predict something. So the main purpose of theory is to provide the means to develop mathematical, analytical, and descriptive models that predict counterintuitive, non-obvious, unseen, or difficult to obtain outcomes. The theory is clearly derived by some other means. It is the imagination and creative insight of the innovator by which theory is developed. Maari kasing ang teorya ay ginawa upang i-explain yung nangyayari or yung actual, the present, or it tries to predict the future. So that's all for this video discussion, and I do hope that you learned a lot from it. If you love this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the professor, and hit the notification bell for you to be updated for my next video upload. Thank you very much.